Ready to order, darling?
I think I might just have coffee, if that's okay.
It's kind of late. What's the matter? You had a fight with your old man or something?
Something like that.
Well, I'll tell you. I think you might be surprised at how quick a good steak will change a man's attitude toward you.
Yeah, well, apparently I can't cook worth a damn, so there's that.
And that's why Jesus invented the microwave.
I have a question for you.
Dan, you know I love answering questions, so I'm here for you if you need me.
Good. Do you understand the vast realm of space and time that accommodates all these films that have the word apartment and then a number after them?
No, I'm dumb as shit. Tell me all about it.
I was looking at them last night, and you have apartment 212, apartment 1303. Room 1408 is one, but still, there's so many apartment movies. Like apartment 2E was another one that I saw. I wonder how many there actually are. So I'm going to go onto IMDb really quick.
Oh, shit. Yeah, the title of this film that we watched
has nothing to do with this film.
The Soul Boys Podcast. That's Dan. I'm Jared. We review movies mainly on Netflix, sometimes on Amazon or Hulu, other places, whatever. Okay?
Okay, yeah, so here we go. Apartment 1303 3D, apartment 143, apartment 212 like we watched, the apartment, yep. Bachelor apartment, apartment 12, apartment 4E, apartment 9, apartment 13, apartment 41, apartment 6, apartment 5C, apartment 202, which, I mean, that's close to 212.
Dan, what if there was a movie that had all of the apartment titles from these horror movies as the room numbers of the hotel in this movie, and it's called Apartment. And it's got all the apartments, and every time you open it, it's like you're going into a different film. You're like, what the fuck?
That's a great idea. Oh my god.
No one would understand it unless they really deep dived in all these weird apartment horror movies. Are they all horror movies?
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I mean, no. On IMDb, no. But I can guarantee a good majority of them are.
So, anywho, we watched a film, Apartment 212, like Dan had said before. Dan, could you give us a brief rundown of the film?
Yeah, sure. So this woman, very young woman, has no business being with this abusive boyfriend that she's with, who happens to be a what's his name?
A sheriff.
A sharif.
Yeah.
Sharif.
I think the religious way to say it is sharif.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so Sharif don't like it, and he beats her all the time.
Oh God damn it! So I guess his name from now on is Sharif, right?
Sharif, yeah.
I mean,
so
he
anyway,
doesn't have a real name, I don't think. Anyway,
he abuses her, and she escapes. And we start with her moving into a new apartment complex, and she is trying to start off, and she gets a job interview with somebody that she connects with. She's like, oh, I haven't seen you in 10 years. It's like, oh, yeah, I need a person to have a job, so come in a week or at the end of the month. And then she's like, okay, good. So she meets this woman who's crying all the time. So she always hears this crying next door in her room, or like the room next door to her. And she keeps hearing it, and she like is about to go and knock on the door one day. I'm kind of skipping around, and this woman blows her head off. But the beginning of the film shows this specific woman grabbing a box out of an antique shop, and then that's it. And then afterwards, the girl who's the
well,
star.
Hold on. Should we do spoilers for this movie?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to see this film, stop listening right now because we're going to spoil the film. Okay.
Anyway, she is getting along with the Kyle Gass character. So Kyle Gass plays the super in here. And he's like kind of an effeminate dude who's like super friendly. And then she is about to go check on this lady, and she blows her head off, which was fucking great. Mm-hmm. And then eventually they fumigate the apartment, and then Kyle Gass's character is throwing all this stuff away, and then she finds this box because she's talking to him. So she takes this box out of the woman's stuff and she puts it there. But it just turns out that the box is from a completely different movie.
Yeah.
And has a demon attached to it, and the demon takes bites out of her until she goes insane and looks like a meth addict. And that's basically all you know.
Yeah, it's basically yes. So my first impressions, this movie is ambitious.
Very.
In the fact that it is trying to put together a body horror film and a creature feature, like a little creature, like Gremlins, obviously. They're trying to combine that with domestic abuse.
Yep.
Which I think is a very difficult thing. Hence me saying it's a pretty ambitious thing to do. And I think it can be done. That being said, I think this movie is really bad. I did not enjoy it at all. Maybe some of the ending was pretty good, but even that was hard to watch at times. The biggest problem is the pacing.
Pacing, yes, and the tonal shift.
Well, I welcomed that because I was bored out of my fucking mind.
I welcomed it too because I was bored out of my mind. So basically, I feel the same way. Like the very beginning and just all the way till the last 20 minutes is super, super long and drawn out, and it doesn't get anywhere fast. But whenever it gets somewhere, you're like, "What the?" Like I said, the box is from another movie.
Yeah. It takes so long for anything to happen. Even when the good stuff is happening, they draw it out way too long. Like, I don't know where the editor was if he was asleep, but he needs to edit this fucking movie. This movie could have been 40 minutes long and would have been perfect. It would have been great. There's just so much of nothing going on. My God. Everything else about it was okay.
So we did that bit about the apartments at the beginning. Do you think in any way, shape, or form this apartment or this apartment should be called Film 12?
Did you just make words that I was
Yes.
supposed to understand?
Why did they title this film Apartment 212?
There's no fucking reason. It doesn't make any sense. It's pointless. It's either a misdirect. It really has nothing to do with the film at all. They could have called it Jedak.
Yeah,
That would have
right.
made more sense. The Jedak or something.
But then they would have had to include the Jedak more. I looked the Jedak up too, and apparently it's a WoW thing.
Oh yeah, so it's been used a few times. The only thing I found out, so that's the name of the monster, by the way. It's a Croatian word that means acrid. It can mean bitter.
Oh.
So it's interesting when you apply it to domestic violence and a relationship that's abusive like that. It kind of makes sense because this monster is supposed to be, I don't know if metaphor, I think is the right word, for
A figure.
this woman going through an abusive relationship and how to deal with that. But then it also gets kind of confusing because a lot of people think she's on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's a part of it. Like they think she's a meth addict because she's getting no sleep and this thing is biting her every night and she thinks she has bed bugs or something. Well, what did you think, Dan? Did you like this movie?
I would have liked
That's
it.
a long pause, by the way.
So no, I didn't, but I liked a lot of the elements of it. If there were a movie, if we focused on the Jedak and the lore of the Jedak the entire time, that would have been really, really cool. Like maybe, I don't know, like I could totally see this as a period piece. Like, you know how like she was reading off of that old parchment that kind of felt like an old Victorian, nursery rhyme about it. It would have been fantastic. And this one, like if they had just got to it faster and not left us in suspense about what is biting her for so long, because like that was the majority of the film, was she's getting bitten and she doesn't fucking know what it is. And
a lot of boring montages of nothing happening. And yes, the monster was much needed. I feel like it was way too late. And when it showed up, I'm like, I'm trying. I'm doing my best. Because like the creature itself looked cool. Mm-hmm. I like the little puppet.
A nice balance of puppet and hiding CGI. Because it's always in the darkness.
I think they did a good job there. Yeah. But then like when she's fighting the monster, how many times did we see her
kill it?
Yes, will either kill it or it get in her hair and it's like fluttering around. She's going, or she falls down and gets knocked out, and then she gets up and then she falls down and gets knocked out again. And it's like the scene keeps going forever. And you're like, what the fuck? Because I checked the time. It was like, it's like 25 minutes left, and it's just her fighting this thing forever. I got fucking bored of that. I was like, when is this going to end?
Oh, okay. So the worst paced scene in the movie, I don't know if this is the right point. Okay. Jared and Dan.
Let's go. Who cares?
Jared and Dan hate endings. You fucking know what's going to happen. She's going to send it home with
and they
her.
act like it's a big surprise.
She's going to send it home with her abusive boyfriend. She's like, oh, I'm coming home. And he's like, oh, would you mind taking my clothes? I think I'm going to stay there a couple nights. And then they like zoom in on her face for like 5 fucking minutes. And at the very end, she smiles.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking know. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. This movie is so bad with like hanging on things they shouldn't hang on for this long. You're like, what are you doing? Cut away. Fuck. It makes me sad because this movie had potential. I can see the potential. And like I said, it is ambition. I see that.
Yes.
I see what they're trying to do. And I get like, oh, people would say like, oh, this movie was just a bunch of these other films. Same thing with that whole movie. It's like you can take ideas and make them your own. I think it was trying to do that in a way. Mm-hmm. It just didn't execute on it in a satisfying way, I would say. I was interested that the Jedak couldn't be killed, really.
And I loved the way in which that you could stop it. Like, you have to look directly into its eyes, which is...
like standing up to it. Maybe,
I love that, though. Like, because, like, it's horrifying looking, and you have to look at it in order for it to not fuck you up.
Stare at it. Yeah, that's cool. But even that isn't really an original idea. It's a cool thing for the monster. I liked it. How did you feel about her resolution and finally stopping it?
There was a resolution. Oh, like, you mean her screaming at it and say, hey, man, you better back off, because I'm not going to back off. That?
Yeah.
I think that was a little underhanded. And like...
Yes.
Okay, well, let me get my full thought out here. It felt as if it was... I don't know. Because...
It felt like this is someone's idea of how you deal with domestic abuse who hasn't gone through it, I think.
Because I was going to say, like, it kind of feels too preachy for it to have been any kind of realism whatsoever. But I mean, I'm not really that big on realism. It doesn't really bother me too much. But what did bother me was that when it actually was said, I'm like, wait, what?
And I have not gone through domestic abuse.
Yes.
I'll say that right now. So I'm unqualified to even talk about this subject. But yes, a lot of this movie felt heavy-handed in that way, or was just... they really dumbed everything down. But even then, like I said, their solutions to different things don't make sense to the metaphor that they're trying to show, as that, like, the Jedak is domestic abuse, I guess, in dealing with it and living with it. And then her solution to it is just being like, you can beat the shit out of me and kill me, but I'm never going to give up. And I'm like, that's good, I guess. That's good. But how would that defeat the monster? The monster's like, all right, you win. Is the monster like really smart? I guess he acts pretty smart.
Well, I wouldn't say he's really smart, but I would say he's a creature of habit, I guess, because he only, once he finds you to bother, he's going to bother you forever, right?
Also, how strong is the monster? That's another thing we need to...
He is an impenetrable fortress.
Because he can, like, break door locks and do all this other shit, and then the lady can just hold him in his hand.
Well...
or hold him with her hand.
And
then he's just like, I'm trapped.
I'd like to think that if I had a Jedak in my house, I would enjoy its company. I do not mind the bites. I think the bites can be utilized for good.
God damn it. Dan likes that near-death look. The kids are all the kids are going for it. Okay, let's talk about some of the characters. So Kyle Gass in this film as the superintendent is pretty great. I liked him. Even though I enjoyed his scenes, they felt off for the film. Like the tone of the movie,
that's what I'm talking about,
is terrible.
It's not that it's a terrible tone, because like they do tone very well, I think.
I don't know, man.
Well,
it's all over the place.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like they are able to achieve tone, but they put too much in and they shift like abruptly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I felt what I was supposed to feel, the attitude, every time I like saw the attitude, but it was too much. Too many shifts is what I'm going for.
I did like the fake out with him where you think he's dead and he comes back and I'm like, yay, he didn't die. I did get weird feelings off of him because of how nice he was.
Yeah, I did too.
But by the time the film caught up with me about how like maybe he's a bad guy, I was already convinced he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, it took too long for the film to try to raise the suspicions when I had already raised them and dismissed them in a court of law. You know what I mean? Because, like, there's a point where she is questioning, when she breaks into that woman's apartment after she dies to find clues, the superintendent sneaks in there with her, and he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, you knew about these pictures. There's, like, cool pictures, though.
Whoa.
I know, right? There's pictures of the woman's drawings of like the monster and these crazy things. Probably some of the cooler parts of the movie. And she's like, you knew about these pictures and you didn't tell me, so you're hiding something. He's like, no, I just didn't want to look at them. They're crazy. So, and by then I was like already, like I said, convinced there's no way this guy is a bad guy.
Right.
They're just not going to do that.
So you're saying that the fake out could have been sooner and then it would have made you think otherwise?
Maybe, like... more red herring. So you're setting an atmosphere and a tone, right? You don't have to be 100%, like you could have funny moments, but you want the film to feel a certain way to get you in the mood to be scared or frightened. Because this movie has zero scares. You're not frightened at all by anything. It feels like there's a lot of filler montage of like, you know, they kind of showed her doing that dream and it was like her in the makeup kind of like going like, Rah. She's acting like a kitty cat at the camera. She's like, I'm going to get you, me. I'm you, but also I'm a dream of you. Oh no. And, and like, there's that shit. There's the terrible music. The music is so fucking bad. It's like that uplifting, like soft Christian rock. I don't know what it is. It's horrendous. And then you have the jarring intro where it's like the lady is coming in and they're doing an opening credits, right? And it's this woman coming to the antique shop and you can barely see her face. I don't know why they did this. They probably thought it looked cool to like, because there's like glass and items in front of her to like show those things like and have her just
no, because
behind it.
They didn't want to give away the surprise for some reason that it was her next door neighbor.
But they do show her face in that very scene. Like they do show it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's like they're hiding her face, but they also definitely show her face.
Right.
And this woman has a very distinct face you could not confuse with any other character in the film.
What are you saying? I feel like you're being prettiest?
Prettiest?
I feel like you're being the prettiest girl in the room.
Thank you. No, because like it's William Dafoe, right? You can't confuse him with anybody else.
Oh, very distinct because they're ugly.
God damn it.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, brutal.
She was wearing a lot of makeup that made her look like a meth addict.
Yes. So, and then they show like the owner of the shop is lying dead on the ground. He's got sores on him, and he's like, "Oh no, he's dead."
Ooh.
And then she runs out with a box. And then we immediately cut to a different movie, right?
Yeah.
And a different opening credits.
Yeah, which is like basically college-bound girl leaves college for
like,
big city life. Mm-hmm.
Making my way downtown. What the fuck?
Okay, anyway.
We're just gonna do the whole song.
If I could walk 1,000 miles, time would pass me by, and you know I'd walk 1,000 miles.
Okay. When I said we're gonna do the whole song, I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry. Please stop.
I'll cut it all out. No, you're cutting this out. You can cut it all out.
No, keep it all in, baby.
No, you keep it all
editing?
in. Yes.
Good. Daddy likey.
Oh, daddy like you.
Okay, so how did you feel about the main character?
I think she was a better actress than last week's lead actor.
Okay.
Well, she wasn't bad. I think she was very convincing. I think she did hold her weight as the leading role. Everybody else, like Kyle Gass, like, you know, he just acts like how he would normally act. It's almost like they gave him funny lines just so he could have funny lines. I don't know. But then...
You don't think he ad-libbed any of that?
I mean, he may have.
He may have.
Some of it worked, some of it didn't. I feel like the boyfriend did a really good job of being...
The domestic abuse scary guy?
Yeah, that guy. He was really bad. And it made me feel that. But it's like, if you're really good at that... I don't know how I feel about that. You know what I mean?
So he definitely made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'll say the lead actress, everyone did a good job. I thought she was great. Like, everyone acting-wise was watchable. And it was hard for me to watch the scenes with the Sharif, who was the ex-boyfriend, because of how good he was doing the role.
So I'm trying to think, like, when does he come? So at first... we see him kind of, she was at a grocery store and then he drives away. Like, we just see his truck.
Yes.
Then he shows up in her house and starts groping her and is interrupted by Kyle Gass.
Jesus, Jenny. Look like cat shit.
What do you want, Port?
Come in. What do you think I want? You popping up on the system, but it's not a good way to stay hid. You still can't park a car on your own, I see. No, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. As usual.
I appreciate.
You see, I don't think that you do, Jenny. Nope, you listen, okay? Because I don't think that you appreciate the lengths that I have gone to and that I continue to go to make sure you don't end up drunk and alone like your goddamn crazy mother.
That might have been one of the better, more intense scenes of the movie. That was creepy.
Then we don't see him, but we know that he has talked to her tenant, her landlord, I mean.
Yes.
And has told her that she's a meth addict, essentially.
To try to get her kicked out.
And then I think she goes back home to him. Is that the next time we see him?
She almost... So, when she finally puts makeup on, which we'll talk about the makeup thing, because that drove me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She eventually, after she's being tortured by the Jeddak for a while, doesn't know why, she puts on a bunch of makeup to go basically just return to her man, like an abusive relationship. A lot of that is it's very, very cyclical in that, like, people in it kind of think this is the only person that loves me. There's a lot of different reasons. People who are abused go back to the people who abuse them. So it was trying to emulate that portion of it, and she's going there to, what it looks like is to try to get her to come back to the house because she fucked up the interview, everything else. But then she has a little memory of the home sweet home heart or whatever that's on the door and how scary that was. And she's like, oh, I'm actually just here to take that because I want it and it's mine. And I was like, okay, that's pretty good that she changed her mind. That's good. And that was any scene with him, like, I don't want to watch it, but it's because they're doing.
Oh yeah,
he's doing his
so
character
like
right. You know what I mean?
This character,
it's like, God
like
damn
it's a little
such
home
an asshole.
sweet home. So it says home with a heart. Like, it's the sign is shaped like a heart. It says home in it. He's like, what are you putting that there for? People are gonna think queers live here. And then she's like, I'll just tell them you live here. And you're like, oh shit. And then he gets pissed.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and it's like, he shouldn't be mad at that, but he is. And I can definitely, like, I used to know people who would act this way. So it's like, it's realistic in that respect. So let's get into this interview thing. So how she gets the interview is a little silly. She just randomly runs into her friend after her first interview doesn't go well because she's just a waitress. And she even has a nightmare of the guy telling her that she's a waitress in like scary slow-mo voice, which I thought was really dumb.
Well, I mean, it kind of like harkened back to Carrie, like they're all gonna laugh at you, and then like everybody's saying the same shit over and over and over again.
I guess I understand what they were going for. It was
dumb. I agree.
Not executed very well. And then this her friend, her high school cheerleading friend, was like, "Hey, I work here. I'm pretty high up. I can get you a job." And you know what? At first I was like, that doesn't seem right. But like that's how shit happens. Like if you know somebody, you get a job. Yeah. And you don't show up with sores covered all over you and don't sleep for 3 days. You get a job. So I that is actually believable to me. So the rest of the film is her building up to this meeting, and then like we're saying, we have the woman crying that is upstairs. Either through it's hinted that she is also being abused by her boyfriend.
Yeah,
and it also has the box.
Well, now hold on, because there was one lady that she saw get abused. Mm-hmm. Or not like saw get abused, but had a black eye.
Oh, those are different women?
Yeah, they're because that lady lives across the way, and then the older lady is the one who's crying all the time for some reason. But we learned...
Oh, it would have made so much more sense.
I know.
What the fuck? I totally thought that wrong.
Well, what were you looking for earlier that you said you were confused about?
We will get to that.
Okay,
That's near the end.
Okay.
That's the climax of the film.
Okay.
So I guess I thought of that wrong. I thought those characters were the same character. Anywho,
no, you even said okay. You were like, hey,
what?
She has such a distinctive look. She's like a female Willem Dafoe.
Failure.
And then
I'm a William Dafoe failure.
Oh, you said William Dafoe? Oh, that makes more sense. Okay. That's my bad. You're not a failure.
No. So, okay.
Two different people, those two.
We have her starting to get sores. There's a long, please edit me montages.
Which is hilarious because edit or montage means to edit.
Yes, so like they're actually cutting down for time, but they could have cut down the time that they cut down for time. So we got the body horror, right?
You do?
She has talked to the super, who I like that old lady.
Yeah.
She was kind of good too. So see, earlier I said there was nothing good about this film. There's some things. It's okay. I would not watch it again. What am I doing? Anywho, she's getting the body horror stuff. She hasn't seen the doctor yet. I don't know why you wouldn't see the doctor. Because like in 2 days, she's already covered in welts. It's really fucking bad. It's only happening when she's sleeping. But yet she says she hasn't been getting any sleep. So wouldn't she just... I would fucking stay up and see what the fuck is going on. Mm-hmm. I don't know, something. She is now, after a week or so of this montage of her getting attacked, she looks horrendous. Like a meth addict.
Yeah.
That multiple people tell her she looks like a meth addict. Like, the exterminator that shows up said he's a recovering meth addict, and he's like, here, these people really helped me. They could probably help you. And just like any other meth addict, she's like, I'm not addicted to meth. Oh. And I'm like, could this movie have been better if it was a metaphor for drug use, maybe?
Maybe, but then...
It just seems confused.
I think it would be better if... Well, I don't know, because then you don't have really the... You don't really have the figure of being able to look it in the eyes and the whole stand up to it kind of deal. But
yeah, I can't stand up to your
but
drugs. Listen here, drugs. You don't control me. Maybe one more time.
Well, no, it's like because I feel like it would have worked as a drug picture, but that wasn't what it was going for. It may have worked better as a drug picture. I'm not sure.
I think it would have. But maybe they're trying to marriage the two ideas of like going through so much pain can lead to drug abuse.
Maybe.
And that type of thing. So she goes to the job interview. Dan?
Yes.
Why did she go to the second job interview?
Because...
Why?
Because her friend told her that it was at the end of the month. And she's like, okay. And then she wakes up late. She's like, oh shit. And then she can't get her car started, or she can't get the trailer hitch off her car, which, by the way...
That was the first interview.
But I feel like she has...
The second one is when she's covered in sores.
I feel like she always has the trailer hitch on.
She might.
for
I
like
don't know.
the entire 3 weeks that she's been at the apartment because she shows up to the boyfriend's house with it.
Yeah. That's funny. I think
Oh
you're
my
right.
god,
She can't undo it.
That's hilarious.
She could have asked somebody to help her.
Yeah, like I don't know, the super friendly super that's there, the super friendly
Yeah,
super,
super friendly super. Yeah.
super friendly super gas.
Super friendly super gas. Hell yeah, dude. Just be like, here's some fucking milk and turtles, man. I'll make everything better. Milk and turtles, baby. Milk and turtles. Milk and turtles, baby. Milk and turtles. Yeah, dude. This movie is all about that milk and turtles.
I got you some milk and turtles.
Yeah. That'll make more sense, maybe.
So all we have to do is talk about it, but we definitely need to talk about it. So you're asking why did she go to the job interview?
Yes. The way she looks is what I'm saying.
No, I
Why
know
would she go
that.
the way she looks?
I know.
Dan, I think you're stupid. I'm going to explain it to you. She looks really bad and shouldn't be going to an interview, so why would she be doing it?
Can I phone a friend?
Yes, hold on. Hello?
Hey,
This is-
why would she be going to the?
Yes?
Why would she be going to the interview if she looks like a meth addict?
What are you talking about? Who's going to do meth? That's illegal. You can't do
We are sorry, you're out of time, Dan. I'm going to need that answer. Yes.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Yes, Regis. My answer is because movie. C movie.
Who wants to fight a million bears? I always say that when I see Millionaire. It was stupid, Dan. If you had chicken pox, if you had any type of illness,
That was physically represent. I would go with a inborn illness that does not show on my face, and I would cough in my hand and shake it.
I mean, you can fucking reschedule. Just say you're sick. For fuck's sake. Or, like she did later when she went to visit her abusive boyfriend, she put on makeup that completely covered everything.
Well, she didn't have enough
Where she
time
looked-
to do that because she woke up late.
Ah,
But go on.
then just don't go. Just don't go.
Don't tell her.
I mean, the guy looked at her and was literally like, we're done. The interview is done. And then they had a creepy scene of him like, close the door, Cheryl, or whatever her name was,
Brenda.
for the main character's friend, because now the boss is going to be yelling at her because this is the person she recommended. So not only was it silly to do this because there's no way she would get the job, but it is irresponsible because now it's affecting her friend's job.
Now, to be fair to Brenda, she did tell her about this 3 weeks ago and then had to go out of town. So Brenda has no idea the shit that what's her face could have got
Yes,
into.
that is
and to
true.
be fair to what's her face, I can't remember her name.
It's what's her face.
It's
You're right.
somebody Conrad. Jennifer?
I'll look it up. I think it's Kelly.
Somebody Conrad. To be fair to her, you don't know if you're ever going
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Yeah, Jennifer
I
Conrad.
was so wrong.
You don't know if you are going to be either A, addicted to meth in 3 weeks, or B, tormented by an evil demon. You just it's a
Yes,
toss up
that's true.
every single
That's
day.
Also, the guy who plays the CEO, his real name is Han Soto, which sounds a lot like Han Solo to me.
Wow.
That's the only reason I wanted to bring
Yeah, I
it up.
know. As soon as you said that, I'm like, oh boy, can't wait for what's going to come next.
What a great reference. All the great references Jared likes to make. Can't wait. Yeah. There's a character named Fuzzy in this movie?
Yeah, he's the weed smoker.
Oh, yeah. So, like, why wasn't he more into the story? Like, he could have been a body count. He could have been anybody. I like the idea of them setting up all these different people that are in the apartment that she's got to interact with. But then it just turned out to, like, it's like her and Kyle Gass. That's it.
Right.
So, going back to the scary Sharif scene where he's trying to get Jennifer to come back to him, and it gets interrupted by Terry, Kyle Gass. So he interrupts it and is like, "Oh, what's the deal with that guy? Good thing I've been drinking my milk. Makes me strong." It's like the derpiest thing you could say, but it's kind of like adorably, like silly in a way. Like if he was talking to a child, this would be fun.
Right.
But like, she responds. She's really into it. I think I just accidentally insulted main character.
Well, I would say that.
Well, just in that scene. But here's when it gets even more silly. Like, she's acting like a child. Because then later she comes to his house and she's like, and this is a cute line where she's like, hey, can I have, like, I came here to get some milk. I brought cookies. And you're like, oh, milk and cookies. Then they actually have cookies and milk, which I'm like, they're really doing it.
Yeah. And
Off
then
of a...
she brought the cookies and they suck.
Yeah.
That's another
Because
thing,
thank
too.
God for the microwave.
That's another thing, too. It's like they keep kind of alluding to the fact that she can't cook. Like, I didn't like that. I feel like that was just forced writing.
That was only to set up the microwave jokes, which was only to set up that scene at the very end where she throws the monster in the microwave, like in Gremlins.
Like, don't you think that that's poor writing? Just to have all of your jokes leading up to one final punchline that after setting it up for, like, I don't know. I feel like if you...
They reference it 4 to 5 times in this movie.
Yeah.
That's way too much.
Yeah, it's
for a 90-minute film.
Much.
It's like they should have just called this film Thank God for the Microwave. That's the
you
name
know
of
what?
the film.
That would have been amazing. And then at least then I would have been so much more angry at the fact that it like dropped the name of the title in the most outlandish way possible.
Actually, I think the characters say that Jesus made the microwave.
Yes.
Which
the diner lady,
I think was supposed to be a joke.
The diner lady did, yes.
But she says it like it's like she believes, like, no, Jesus made this microwave, and I'm happy he did. I didn't sense the sarcasm there. So and then that's when they kind of get more into Kyle Gass's personality. And that's when I was like, when he starts talking about the abuse stuff, that's when I'm like, okay, he's definitely a good guy. There's no way this character is going to be bad. And I had already, in my mind, I was like, I checked him off the list of red herrings. Like, he is not the bad guy,
right?
For sure. Was there any other scene you wanted to talk about before we get into the climax?
No, the turtle. So Kyle Gass brings over to her one night a turtle to be friendly to her, I guess. Mm-hmm. Does he just have an endless supply of turtles? Or is he going out and purchasing this turtle? Because later on in the film, he's like, I brought you some turtle chow. That was whenever he shows up and sees, like, witnesses the abuse.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious as to where the turtle came from.
I think he just bought it. I don't think it was like his turtle or anything. I think it's just like, hey, I'm just gonna go to the store and get her a pet.
It just made me wonder, like, if Kyle Gass is,
yeah, see,
utilizing his, essentially abusing his idea of being a super for a bigger apartment so he can breed fighting turtles. You know what I mean?
Boxer turtles. I mean, it's in the name.
Right. I think it's called box turtles.
Put little boxing gloves on them.
I'm pretty sure it's box, not boxer.
It's boxing now.
Boxing turtles.
That actually leads into what I wanted to talk about. So in the climax of the film, she finally realizes that through like a diary, which was interesting, from the previous apartment owner, that there's a monster. And I liked how the monster was not in the box. It was the actual statue coming to life. That was cool. She is fighting with the Jetta thing. And
the
there's
what?
Like, what's that?
The Jetak?
Did I say it wrong?
It's a Jetta.
The Jetak, yeah. That's a Jetta. And it's, it's, like I said, it's pretty good. And then it like attacks her and she gets knocked out. And then you think, oh, we gotta like is this over? Is this scene over? And then she just wakes up and it just starts again. And maybe that was the point. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was like, that's what people I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking it through. People of domestic abuse have to go through. It just doesn't end. But while you're watching it, I definitely wasn't picking that up, and if that was the intent, I can kind of see that. But it really just felt relentless. Like it went on for too long. And if they wanted to do that, I feel like they should have varied it up more. I don't know. I guess they tried.
Well, I mean, it gave you a lot of opportunity to see it. But then again, would it have been a better film if it was like a creature feature and we just saw bits and pieces throughout the movie rather than all at once at the very end?
I think it would have been better if it was hinted at a lot more, like mischievous, like things are happening to other
Or like
people.
we
Things
saw
are happening.
We saw, well, yeah, something's happening to other people, but then also like the little, because it on top of this box, there's a little figurine that is the Jedak, but it looks like all
Yes.
tranquil and peaceful and cute. So maybe if we saw that like facing the other direction or something, and then she kind of picks up on that. I don't know.
What I think would have been better, this might have been harder to do, or just a better representation of what they were going for, is if this thing started out small and got bigger. To the point where so like
the flea from Tale of Tales?
yeah, kind of. But this could like get big at will. Like the more afraid or whatever you are of it or something, it could just get bigger. Or have more dream sequences with her looking at it, but like not knowing what it is, or just seeing the eyes. Because you ever heard of I think I've talked about this with you before, is there's a creature called the Bacta, which is like this creature that sits on your chest when you're sleeping. And a lot of people, it's basically an explanation of her sleep paralysis and stuff like that. Back in like, I don't know, ye old time when people believed in stuff like that. They're like, it's the Bacta monster. Oh, it's getting you. So it could have been something like that. They could have mixed it where it's affecting her in that way, just as a better representation, because it's just like a tiny little dude.
I feel like the shifting in size would better represent the issue of domestic abuse, because sometimes it's little cases, sometimes it's big cases. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then like just us talking about it now, it made me think maybe it's small because the abusers are small in their way.
Oh, yeah.
The way that they have to get power and assert their dominance over people makes them that small. That could be it. We could probably be overthinking this a lot.
That could be exactly what it
Who
was.
knows?
And we got it really quickly, and we didn't need to watch the movie because the pacing was just off. But who are we to judge? Because we are not filmmakers. I mean, I'm a filmmaker, but I don't make feature films. So good on you, whoever directed that.
What was your favorite part of the climax?
The money shot?
Oh! No, be serious.
Oh, boy.
I'll tell you mine.
Please do, because that may jar my memory. Because I'm trying to think of what my favorite part was.
I really liked when the monster was in the background and then his eyes would light up and you would see him. There's a moment where the monster is sitting on a mirror, or the monster, or she sees the monster through a mirror in like the bathroom scene. That was cool. Anytime he's kind of just lurking, like almost off camera, watching the main character, I thought that was really great. I don't know, like whenever she would fight it, I don't know, it was okay. Like I said, it just kind of went on
I feel
for
like
too
just
long.
looking at it was definitely the best part of it. Just like seeing his little orange glowing eyes were just, it was super creepy, and it was really well done. And like he has this really, really distinct like hyperventilating sound, because it's kind of like a growl, but you can, like he's like the whole time.
That sound effect I didn't think was very good.
Well, see,
I wish they got a different sound.
I appreciated what they were going for, but it did, like, I will say it did get annoying, but like I liked how it was just
it did. Mm-hmm.
I think it went really well with what it was representing in terms of domestic abuse. There was one specific scene where it was a puppet and it looked nothing like the Jedak, where it was just kind of coming.
But I love the puppet.
I liked it. No, there's two different scenes. One of them actually looks like a good puppet, and the other one just like,
okay,
it was rounding the corner and it just looked like a sock puppet with like spikes on its head. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, it fooled me. I didn't even notice that.
It looks so
Pretty
strange,
great.
but like I really appreciate the puppets. Puppetry is so much better.
I love it, and the CG wasn't too bad.
It really wasn't.
And dark.
Yeah, they were hiding it.
You know, they didn't light up the fucking CG, which is good. That's what you should do. Well, Dan, what are your final thoughts? What are you thinking?
My final thoughts are, I think the Jedak should get its own TV series.
Spin-off.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we should cast, I don't know, Danny DeVito in the role.
Can it be like Alf?
Yes.
You know?
Yes, but with Danny DeVito.
Like, and people go to it for advice, but instead it just bites them and like stares at them. It's like
it just bites people. And then they're like, oh, thanks, Jedak, and then they leave. See you next week.
It just gets tangled in their hair. They throw it on the ground.
I don't like. I feel like my biggest thing is just the pacing and the tonal shifts just really turned me off with the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That and the music and sound design.
Well, I'm not gonna be.
Are not good.
I'm not gonna be that mean to it because I'm already being mean enough. Okay, fine.
I agree with everything you've said. This movie is pretty disappointing. Man, what a difficult film to try to make. Especially coming off of, we watched that
other independent horror film.
that whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Deep
that
Dark.
low budget.
Yeah.
So, like, that film wasn't as... It had its theme and it nailed it really well. But it wasn't as tricky. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a hard topic to cover.
Yeah.
But, you know, what ifs. Fuck. A lot of people... I was looking at reviews, and there are a lot of people who enjoyed this movie. So, it is a subjective art. That is what I'm told. So, Dan, I believe you have a film for us to assign. If you need some time, I can recite the alphabet through my anus.
Ahead and recite the alphabet. I'm on. Okay, so we have. Let me read some of these plots really quick. Really glad I'm not editing this one. Okay, so there's a possibility.
I gotta have to stop doing this because that was... I'm gonna change my pants.
Wow.
These are good pants too, man.
Okay.
Okay, one more.
You know, I'm just gonna go with this one. All right, so I'm on Hulu. Okay, so on IMDb, this film has... Ooh. Never mind.
What is it called?
I'd rather not watch a 4.6 movie on IMDb.
Why? We just watched a 5.2.
Yeah, but does it have to be shitty?
Yeah. I want gore. I want some fucking gore in my horror film, okay? For Christ's sake.
Halloween Pussy Trap, Kill Kill.
What? Can we do that? Can we just watch the most insane trash garbage that has ever been? You can't just say a title like that and then we go on, we move to something else.
When an all-girl rock band is captured by an evil genius, they must do whatever it takes to survive. It is from 2017. Let me see if it's like... Whoa!
So this is a parody of Faster Pussycat
Yes.
Kill Kill, right?
Yes.
You would think. Now, does it look like a straight up softcore porn? Because I don't want to watch that.
So far, no.
Okay, if it's an actual movie.
No.
All right, let's do it.
I have to admit, it's a pretty good name. And has an even lower rating on IMDb.
Oh yeah, this movie's going to be horrendous. I think we have to see this movie.
Okay. The film is 2017's Halloween Pussy Trap, Kill Kill. This is the third installment of... Anyway. Members of the all-girl punk band... Kill Pussy Kill must fight for their lives and attempt to outwit an unknown assailant after finding themselves trapped in a madman's maze. Directed by Jaron Cohn, who, wow, he has a pretty big repertoire.
He's done a lot of movies.
Nothing that I know.
I've never heard
Wait,
of any
12,
of these.
12, 12 I've heard of, but I never watched it. Little Dead Riding Hood I have seen. It wasn't too bad, but it was pretty bad.
Oh, he's doing a couple movies a year.
Yeah, he's making an effort. He just must love filmmaking. Let me tell you what. All right, well, I'm down. So that means you gotta
Hell yeah,
you
dude,
gotta
let's
close
fucking
it.
go.
So next week your mission is to come with a bang with the last Spookoween Stravaganza.
All
movie.
right, you guys gonna be so spooked?
Yes.
Oh my god.
This one isn't going to be too spooky, but it's definitely going to be laughably bad. So.
Well, I don't know. All right, guys. Hope this was something. Find us where you're going to find us. For God's sakes, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Please let us know how you feel about the show. We appreciate all your feedback. oldboys_podcast for Twitter. We're on podbean.com. Search Old Boys Podcast to find us. Dan,
Yeah.
You have the final word.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten microwave, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal hot pockets. For God not did send his microwave to the world to condemn the world, but to give them super fast dinner. And the Lord's people say, Amen.